May profits be upon you. I hope that your weekend is just looking great, sunny, spending time with your friends, your family, counting money from profits that you made last week. I'm just hoping that everything's looking good and you're spending some time away to recharge your battery away from the charts. Unlike myself. All right, let's start off with the economic calendar. Let's look at what's on tap next week. Nothing major. All right. Uh, this is Sunday. Not a whole lot going on. All right. Tuesday, you have some meetings with Aussie. Aussie is an interesting case because right now it's kind of weak to neutral, and it's weak neutral-ish. And I think we're going to be looking at weaker days ahead. It may start this right around this time next week on Tuesday, Wednesday. You start to see some declines in the Aussie. All right. And on that note, New Zealand dollar, not this week, but next week, has interest rates, has an interest rate decision to be coming, and it's not looking good for the New Zealand dollar. All right. And similar to Aussie. Just look out for that the price action this week leading up to that interest rate, because that's a high impact event, particularly for the New Zealand dollar, and it may look to get weakened by it. Okay, and if you enter a short this week, that'll probably add wind to your back. All right, it'll help push price down if you get into a nice swing entry this week for a short. All right. Outside of that, pound has CPI, and the Canadian dollar has same thing. And look, index core. These CPIs, they'll impact these currencies, but not in a big giant way. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that I'm going to trade for or against, or be extra. Just be careful if you're scalping, because then it could affect the scalps that you take at that time. Be careful around news time. All right. Now, with that in mind, let's look at the currencies. Right. You know how I like to do it. I just like to look at the extremes. Who's strongest? Who's weakest? Long term. All right. Let's make sure that we have an updated, what do you call a refreshed chart. And I'm looking at USD CAD as the strongest. And on the opposite end, it's pound euro, and they're this week coming, they'll be even weaker than last week. All right. USD is gaining strength, CAD gaining strength. All right. These ones in the middle, Aussie is the one that interests me because this one might be sliding. All right. New Zealand, right under that. All right. When you're looking at the yen pairs, the yen is kind of right in the middle, neutral. Doesn't say so here, but when you look at the charts, you can kind of see that yen is not it's not as weak as these little, what do you call these currency strength meters, kind of how they illustrate. All right, now this is what I want you to look at. All right, because I'm looking at the extremes, I'm looking at Euro USD pairings. All right, the weakest against the strongest. Euro CAD, the weakest against the second strongest. Pound USD, the second weakest against the first strongest. Pound CAD, second to second weakest, second strongest. Then I got some asterisks. We're going to peek at Aussie USD, Aussie CAD. I'm going to peek. These are on my priority list. Not exactly my red list, but I want to check these out and see how price action goes. But these are the ones I'm going to be focusing on, being that their strengths are, on the opposite ends of things. All right, now let's look at the Dixie. You know, I like to start out with the Dixie because it controls everything, man. All right. We're on the monthly, right? And ignore all of this. Matter of fact, I'll just do it all over. All right. All right. What do we see? We see price bearing down, but we didn't make a new lower low. We didn't make a low. Look, lower low, lower high. From that high, from that to this low, from that lower high, we're supposed, this should have led to a lower low if we're going to continue a downtrend, but that's not what happened. We made a higher low relative to this one. So with that in mind, you mark these shifts and you say, hey man, we're shifting higher. All right. And all these points down here are sell side liquidity. All right? Just bear that in mind. Sell side liquidity. All right. You know, price is going to come back down here at some point and take these lows out at some point. We don't know when. All right. This isn't a trend line. This is the mark that price has shifted from bearish to bullish. All right. If we would have broke that low, we will be continuing in a bearish trend, but bearish momentum. But that's not what happened. Okay. So this is on the monthly. All right. Where's the last break of structure? You always ask that question, right? The last break of structure is to the upside, and it's here. All right. This is more than a 2 candle pullback. We didn't make a higher low. I mean, a lower low here. All right. Price continued higher. We made a higher low. So we make the higher high now. Okay. This is actually, watch. This here is a lower high that made this lower low. All right. And that is, this is the beginning of the trading range, and this is the end of that trading range. This is our boundary lines. And when price closes above this, then we know there's a shift going on, a shift from bearish to bullish momentum. If it would have broke down here at the bottom of the trading range, we would know that the bearish momentum is being continued. All right. So we're looking at a bullish monthly. All right. And do we have any POIs that we want to be aware of? Of course, because after a break of structure, what are we're looking for? A return to impulse. And where would that impulse be? To the impulsing order block that sent price up there in the first place. This would be one of my POIs that I would think price may come back to and test, and then mitigate this bearish order block, mitigate this demand, and then continue higher. All right. Where's my second one? Right here. Why? Look at the way price left this demand. All right. It came up, retested, mitigated, came back, came up. I mean, just shot up pretty nicely, pretty aggressively. And I like that. So these are my monthly POIs. If price comes down here, I'll have an alert ready, and we'll move on from that. Let's go to the weekly. What do we see? Do we see anything a little bit more clearly? Yes, we have a weekly order block here that price could definitely come back and test for a return to impulse. No doubt about that. I would definitely want to make sure I mark that. We got a monthly here. Okay. All right. So that we don't get things confused, we can keep things orderly. All right. Now, what about this one? Well, on a lower time frame, this might be a real deal here. Why? Because when price came back up here, it broke these highs. All right, taking the liquidity here. Boom. We come back. We're going to take out these liquidity points here and mitigate this order block here. This makes sense for a POI. Now, is this where the move begins? We can have it. You know, I would probably mark it here until price gets here. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the beginning where the POI could start. Because I wouldn't want price to come back. Sorry, I wouldn't want price. Okay, I wouldn't want price to come down and then just bounce off from there. And I'm waiting for it to do it here. Dig? Wouldn't want that. So I'm going to include this the two candles, sometimes it's three candles. And that's the way I was originally taught to look at order blocks when I started watching ICT videos. Yeah. Now let's go to the, so we're bullish here. All right, we have a break of structure. We have breaks of short-term highs here. All right, which grabbed liquidity. All right, that's why I have X there instead of a dollar sign there. And we took the liquidity from this high over here. And why is it so far up? I don't know. All right, so I'm looking for price to pull back to our POI here, and maybe continue in the bullish with the bullish momentum. Let's go to the daily. All right, now we can see some things. Look at this. I always notice when I see a transition of price. All right, that looks like price wants to go higher. Okay, look at this order block here. It's beautifully made, right? And this is on the daily. I'm going to mark this. Right, we got a daily demand here. Price did come back and mitigate, come back up. We broke these highs. This is why you mark these things. Broke this high. Hold on, let me get this right. Broke this high, and we broke this high. So this pretty nice impulse to the upside, don't you think? All right, and then we broke this one. So we're waiting for price to come back. Now, doesn't necessarily have to come back all the way down here. It could stop right possibly here. All right, we're going to go to the 4 hour so we can see this even more clearly. So I'm going to keep this one in mind as well. All right, you look for those POIs and you're looking for when price comes down and contacts them. That might give us some clues as to what to do in the pairs that we're going to be trading. I'm going down to 4 hour just to get some clarity. All right. Oh, look at that. That was a nice entry into the POI here. So when price does come back, will it come all the way down here? This is a big ask. All right. This is how you use your fibs. Remember I showed you last week? You wait for price to come past this 50% mark. All right. That'll bring us back past the breaks of structure here. All right. And we're waiting for price to come out of premium price to discount price. That's it. That's it. Got it. I like how much time price is spent at this level here, at this daily order block. I believe this is a good spot. Could price come up a little higher? I'm looking at the way price broke through this area, broke through these bearish order blocks. And I'm wondering if there's anything in here that might make me think, okay, price might be, looking at a breaker or something like that. So I don't see it. And we have a lot of inefficient price movement from here to there. And, those are imbalances. And price likes to balance out the imbalances. So on the way down, I could see price coming through that and entering into our POI. All right, so this is where we're going to be looking for a POI for the Dixie, and then we'll see strength come back into the Dixie, into the USD, and we can play against those pairs that are already outlined earlier. All right, so I am looking, matter of fact, let me make sure I illustrate. I'm looking for price to come down and then continue with the bullish momentum. All right, stop driving me crazy, please. All right, I'm skipping the USCAD because they're close to strength, strength to strength. They're very close to each other. So I don't want to get messed around with sideways price movement. We'll look at pound USD. All right, what do I have here on the 4 hour? All right, on the daily, I'm going to look at the daily real quick to get some clarity. All right, where is the break of structure? All right, we can see that we are in a lower low, lower high, lower high. Right, that's not a lower low. This is, but this is a lower high that made that lower low. So lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Got it? lower low. We have a close past that low. This is the last break of structure. So we're looking for a return to impulse, right? I keep repeating the same thing because that's my bread and butter. That's why I repeat it. All right. Now, where could price come back to? All right. I have this as a POI, a place of interest. All right. Point of interest. And this area as a POI. I have this area as a POI primarily because of this last up move before the down move. You do understand that this is a evening star chart pattern, right? And that really is a bearish engulfer. If you look on the 2-day, one time frame up, you see it's a bearish engulfer. You understand? So I mark it here. All right. And price could find this as a POI. It could come here, start showing, mitigate the means threshold, median threshold, median threshold, the middle part of the bullish candle, this institutional candle here, and then come on down. All right. So I'm going to be careful of that. Just know that it's above the 50%. So once price gets above that 50%, that's when we start looking for a price to transition from bullish to bearish momentum and continue in this bearish trend here. Okay. That's where I'm looking. Let's go to the next one. EURUSD. All right. What do we have here? I don't believe I just did this. All right. Let's go to the daily real quick. What do we have? Let's look at the market. Looks like we're in a downtrend. All right. Looks very bearish. All right. Yep. Got a lower high there. And then we start sizzling on down. I like that word, sizzling on down, right? We see that point, that low point here, that swing low. We broke that swing low. We never did get a real return to impulse. Once we broke, we had a weak pullback, but then that stronger pullback came. All right. And we bounced off of this bearish order block here beautifully. I like this kind of price action because it makes things easy. Once price reaches that POI, we're not even going to see a whole lot of drawdown. You understand? Just enter, flush, easy. Okay. So since then, price has a break of structure here, right? Price has a break of structure here to the downside. Now, what are we looking for? A return to impulse. You should be able to finish my sentence on that. You should be able to finish my sentence on that because I repeat it so many times. This is a daily order block here. So we are looking in this area above the 50%. We are looking in this area for price to return and give us an entry. Now, what am I looking at? This is a very strong, I don't understand why that color is the way it is, bearish, clear bearish. Oh, that's why. I see, because I gotta, I'm losing it, y'all. Okay, so that shouldn't say 1 hour. I don't know why it says 1 hour. It's starting to drive me a little crazy. I left that in there when I copied this. Okay. All right. So I got a 1 hour on this one. All right, I'm gonna fix that right now. I'm about to fix that right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm losing it. Fixed. All right, so we have this bearish order block that was mitigated and price fell from it very aggressively. I'm looking for price to come back into this AOI, and that would give us more downside as USD gains strength for the week. All right, now, is it possible price could come in around this area? That's why I have this POI down here. I'm going to be looking at this movement. All right. I'm going to be looking at that movement here. All right. You know, we could refine up there, but I don't like doing a whole lot of refinement because you can miss price coming up there and just missing you by a pip or two, and then come on down. But it's in your AO, but you got it refined all the way up here and stuff. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to see if price comes up into this AO, and we'll see if we can catch a short and continue to ride this bearish momentum. Let's go to the next one, shall we? Aussie USD. Now, I'm going to be very, very careful with what I say about Aussie USD, because Aussie USD is, the Aussie is kind of weak to neutral, right? But up against the USD, I'm looking for more downside action. Now, here's the deal. You see lower low, I mean, this low point broke to the upside, making a higher high, higher low relative to this one, then breaking this high point, another higher high. Now, you know, that seems to be quite bullish. And what am I going to expect? A return to impulse, right? Where would I expect that impulse? Right where price is turning right now, coincidentally. Right here. Yeah. So, you know, I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for USD strong to drag price down. All right. I'm looking for it to break these lows eventually, but it has to turn around first. All right. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to get you to see is there was a break of structure here. I want you to be very careful with this one. All right. There's a break structure here. All right. Let's go to the 4 hour. Go to that 4 hour, that break of structure. We haven't had a full pullback yet. I believe that pullback to the return to impulse move that I always talk about, I think that's coming. Excuse me, hold on a second. What in the world? Who did what? All right. Thank you very much. Somebody said, bless you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Some people actually say health, you know, health when people sneeze because they don't want to say God or God bless you or something. Y'all are crazy. Anyway, so with that break of structure here, it looked like we grabbed liquidity first and then we actually broke, right? So I'm looking for a return to impulse. And we have a couple of POIs. This POI here, this is on the 4 hour. This is a POI here, but I don't expect it to hold. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this. Excuse me. But this one may have some impact because of the way price came to this area and then came back down, you know, and we might find resistance on the flip side of this. All right. And that interests me. Okay. So as a POI, let's be careful around this area here. And this is 73.54, 73.55. All right, let's be careful. Let's be careful when price gets in this area. Okay. But this is the other POI, you know, as far as a return to impulse, I'm looking for price to quite possibly come up here. Now, look, if you put your fibs on this, you don't have to use fibs. You should be able to sight it with your eye. But if you put your fib on this, we've already come to the 50% line, all right? From this swing high. So if it comes up in here, this will be a good target. All right. Now, if you're measuring from here, you're going to wait until price gets up here. Okay. But this is a swing high for me. This looks like a valid swing high. So I'm looking at this area here, and this would coincide with where I think price around the time that USD will find its strength and drag AUD down. So we will see. We will see. That might be around Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay. So look out for that. Be very careful with Aussie USD. Another one to be very careful of is my next one. Is it against the CAD? CAD is the second strongest. Remember? I'm gonna take a look at it if I can get to it. All right. I haven't broken this down at all in the longest, so I'm going to start from the daily. We'll move all those drawings. All right. See how the price action is here? Ooh, a big. We could draw a line through this, and we can say we've gone nowhere. All right. Look at it. Look at this area. How many times we come back? Right around this area. Boom, 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 boom. We're almost ended where we started. You know, we're just ranging. All right. So I would be very careful with this pair, but I understand that price may be getting weak soon. All right. And against the CAD, it's going to be, there's going to be some challenges. All right. I don't recommend, I'm not going to be in this pair. I'm not going to, because there are other pairs to trade. But what I want to make note of is we have transitions, right? All right. That failed. It failed to go make a higher high here. So, but we did manage to make a higher low. All right. So I'm looking at this as a possible transition of price. All right. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. All right. You see how we came down and tested this head? Why am I drawing it? Why am I drawing it that way? All right. You see how we came down and tested this head here? So, you know, and we see the price came down, mitigated to the midpoint, and we're going up. I want you to be very careful with this one. If price breaks this bearish engulfer here, that breaks this that supply, then you know, then what I'm going to say is invalid. All right. But I think price is clear bearish, right? I think that there's a good chance that price may find itself rounding over here and continuing down, as this was a lower high. I'm thinking that this inverted head and shoulders is going to fail. You know, and you know, once we don't get a break of structure on either impulse, I'm thinking this is going to fail and we're going to continue down. So look for transition here. You have, that's the only reason why I'm mentioning this, is because we have a definitive area of definitive POI to look at. So look at that POI, my fine fitted friends. Look at this POI and let's see what price does here. That's what I want you to do. We'll see. You know, if it gives us a transition, then we're going lower. And I suspect that's what's going to happen. All right. What other pair that I want to look at? Pound CAD. Why do I have all these pairs messed, doggone, lit up? All right, pound, not pound Swiss, pound CAD. All right. Let's move all of that. Okay. We're on the daily. Sideways, man, sideways. But pound is what? The second weakest. CAD is the second strongest. Where's the last break of structure? To the downside, right? Seems pretty obvious. If we go to the weekly, it becomes the price action becomes easier to read. Look at this. Look at that 2 candle pullback and then up, right? I'm going to mark this low as a break of structure, a higher time frame break of structure, no less. All right, and then we have this one here. So we're looking for a return to impulse on the lower time frames, right? Okay, now we're cooking. All right, so we have a break here as well. All right, did we get a proper pullback yet? This looks like one of those descending corrections from this impulse, and we haven't had a decent pullback yet. So I'm looking for pound, the weak one, to have a pullback, but I expect the CAD, the stronger one, to continue to pull it down. Now, where is that pullback going to come back, that return to impulse? I'm going down to the 4 hour, and I'm hoping that we can get some clarity. All right, all this mess. All right, we have a break of structure here, we have a break of structure here, a return to impulse on this one. All right, now look at that. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Look at here. Look at here. All right, we broke that low. All right, now it looks like a liquidity grab as opposed to a break and close below it, but price went up, returning to impulse. And boy, I mean, some people would have marked it right here. All right, and you know how I like to mark my, that's a two candle move. If you would have marked your order block here, you would have lost out. You've been like, dang, man, it missed me. You know, it missed my POI. Not me, because I would have had mine here. The two candle. This is the last bullish move before the bearish move, the more significant bearish move. All right, so I'm going to wait here looking for price to transition. This is where you take your short. This is where you should have taken your short. And I believe price will continue in bearishly from here. All right, maybe we get a pullback for a double top here. All right, what I call a double tap in this area in the POI to mitigate this order block again. And then, you know, I believe price will continue down. It may even come to this little lucky one here. It may even come up higher to that, all right, to touch off. But I believe that price will continue down. So, all right, this is possible. All right, it could go from here or just drop from here. But I do believe there's always a pullback. Okay, it's usually a pullback at the beginning of the week to grab the liquidity from these high points. All right, and then price will move. So we'll see. This is going to be a good one, I believe. I believe this one is going to be a pretty good one. Okay. Now, I'm going to briefly, you know what? Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. I'm going to call it here. I'm going to call it here. Yeah, I'll just call it here. And the other you know, other pairs and stuff, I'll save for another video. Okay. Just for 1 second though, I do want to take a quick look at gold. I just said for a second. Don't give me a hard time. Yeah, I'm going to do gold. All right, let's do gold real quick. All right. Let's get rid of this. All right. Gold is a funky animal. And if you mess around with gold, man, you better be careful. I'm on the daily, right? You see this lovely trend to the downside? All right, you know, that's very interesting to me because I'm looking at liquidity points. Okay. Now, give me a second here. What I want to figure out is, what am I looking at right here? Are we looking at a sideways market? No, we're looking at that breakout. That's what we're going to focus on. Yeah, I just love this breakout. I love the fact that we made higher lows and then we had a breakout to the upside. I love it. Now Why do I love it? Because it makes things easier. Makes things easier to read the price action, right? We have a break of structure here, right? And then we have these important, very important breaks here because this was the top of the range. Okay, so we broke that range. Oh, we broke that range. Ain't no doubt about that. So we're looking for a return to impulse. We're going to look for this pullback. Okay, and it's only going to be seen as a pullback. That's what I want you to know. Now, this is what you need to keep in mind. I have the Euro USD. Excuse me. I have the Dixie, the USD. Let's just say the USD, please. The currency USD gaining strength, and I'm bullish there. I'm also bullish with gold. Now, why should that happen? They usually go in opposite directions, right? They're negatively correlated, right? But this is a flight to safe havens, all right? A flight to safety, okay? And you'll see that bond yields, just know that bond yields are coming down. All right, there was a brief little spike up last week, but bond yields are coming down. And stocks are going to be looking to maybe go into a little bit of a correction. So there's a flight to safety going on. So you're going to see some money going into gold. You're going to see some money going into the currency, the USD gaining strength because of this flight with all this inflation talk and the proof of the inflation and all in the last reports. There's a flight to safety going on. So that's why you'll see gold and the USD moving bullishly at the same time. So don't get thrown off by it this week. Okay. I'm looking for a POI. All right. Maybe price comes down here. All right. That's a pretty tall ask. All right. That which would mean USD strength. But in this case, they're going in the same direction. We might see a very shallow pullback. Any pullback, I'm not taking the sell. I'm looking for buys. Okay. So we have a break of structure. I'm looking for a return to impulse. Maybe we come up and top this off, but I'm looking, for purposes of this video, I'm going to pull out these doggone fibs again. We're at the 50% mark where we had this the break of these highs. I'm looking for price to come into a more discounted price for me to take longs. That's what I would like. Now I will go on the lower time frames to see if there's a nice entry for longs. All right, below that break of structure here, you see how we might have price trying to transition here. See how we may be getting price to transition here, and we might see these lows being broken. All right, and that would interest me. Of course, we have an inefficient price move here, so price will probably come down here sooner than later, and I'm going to be looking at this area. I'm going to be looking at this area as a POI right at the break of structure. I'm hoping it comes past through this. All right. But if I start to see, and this is what I'm trying to put in your ear, if I start to see that price, why not make this bullish? I'm silly, man. All right. If price starts to give us a transition down here from bearish to bullish momentum, then I will take a buy here. All right. But this is our POI. This is my POI, and this should be your POI as well. You're saying, but it's not in discount pricing. Maybe it's not. But there's a lot of bullishness in this market. There's a lot of bullishness in this market with people clinging to the safe stuff, going to safety. All right. Just hold what you got. You know what I'm saying? Just hold what you got, man. This bullish order block might be an area that I might consider, if the price has a deeper penetration, because it's gonna want to go for these liquidity on these points. All right, there's a bunch of them in here, so I'm thinking that price is going to come down here. Okay, let me give you my arrow. We'll see. This could be very interesting. Okay, this ends the video. Okay, and I'm glad you stayed till the end. Thank you very much. Look out for my follow-up videos. Last weekend I went crazy on videos for some reason. I put out like 4 or 5 of them. You know, I have some thoughts on the indices and Bitcoin, and I will share them with you, of course. And I'm hoping that your next week will be great, because this last week, shout out at me, would you please? Just holler at your guy over here and let me know that, hey, I made some money with that analysis, man. I agreed with the analysis and I made money off of it, or whatever. Shout me out, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate the big ups. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the love and I welcome it, and I would like more. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, check out the one of the 2 videos that are on your screen right now if you want to see how I get it done and learn more about my strategy and how I view the markets. And I will see you in the next video.